Welcome to Simply Naturally Simi. I'm excited because we're making ox cheeks. I got these from Morrison's Butchers. I have got 4 packets. You see this one is around £2. This one is a large one, £3.38, and another one. So in total I've got about a kg of ox cheeks. So my ingredients have been prepped. I've got some soft cheese. I'll be using 100 grams of soft cheese, any cream cheese that you've got at your disposal, preferably full fat cream cheese. I've got 150 grams of white onions, about 10 grams of 4 garlic cloves. I've got 200 grams of chestnut mushrooms. I'll be using a kg of ox cheeks, a stock or broth of your choice. I'm using this chicken stock that is pictured, and I've got some extra virgin olive oil, so I'll be using that for frying my ox cheeks. So this is Mr. Simply Naturally Simi's recipe. He starts off by frying the ox cheeks in a hot pan with olive oil, and then he goes ahead and adds some pink Himalayan salt. So you want to fry your ox cheeks until they are golden brown. So he's adding more ox cheeks there and frying. You can see the salt granules on the side of the pan. So all pieces of meat are salted. So once your ox cheeks have fried and they're golden brown on both sides, you've got some lovely keto friendly fat there. So you add your onions. So Mr. Simply Naturally Simi adds his onions, his finely chopped onions, and then just turn that and make sure that you sweat the onions and get them to cook through. So you can see the bottom of his pan is golden brown, so you don't want your pan to burn, so you use medium heat so that the bottom of your pan does not burn, because if it burns it will affect the taste of your stew. Look at that, that is just perfect. So once the onions have sweated and cooked a little and then they're tender, you're then going to add your 10 grams of finely chopped garlic. So this is the equivalent of 4 garlic cloves. Mr. Simply Naturally Simi introduced me to ox cheeks. I had never imagined eating ox cheeks, but it is one of the tenderest meats out there. It's beautiful. So he goes ahead and adds his sliced chestnut mushrooms and just turns that and makes sure that the mushrooms are going to cook as well. So once the mushrooms have been turned and they're covered in oil and all those juices, he just covers it for about 5 minutes just to get the mushrooms to sweat a little. So that's his meat in 5 minutes. You can see that there's some juices now, because mushrooms tend to hold a lot of water, so they've released the water and the pan is now clear, which adds to the flavor of this dish. So that's my chicken stock. So we just use the liquid from it, we don't use the fat. I reserved this, I think it was from one of my meals during the week. So the fat is going to be used to cook something else. You can use a stock cube of your choice or any chicken stock, but for keto or banting you want to use chicken broth or your own homemade chicken stock. So you go ahead and top that up with hot water. You just want the water to cover your meat so that it cooks until tender. You want to put your cooker on low heat and cook this for a couple of hours with the lid on. So that's our dish after a couple of hours. You can see that it's bubbling away gently. It's not a violent bubble, so it's been cooking on low heat. Mr. Simply Naturally Simi adds 100 grams of cream cheese. So you add the cream cheese and then you stir it through and just make sure that it's stirred through so that it dissolves in the stew. So you let that bubble away for an additional 30 minutes. If you want your stew to reduce further, then you can add additional time or use less water. We like our stew to have a bit more water than usual because we could easily eat this like as a soup with a chunk of meat in the middle. So that's basically our ox cheeks dish, all cooked and ready. We're going to just serve that with a side. Some members of my family will have theirs with rice, some will have it with mashed potato, but I tend to have mine on its own like that. So that's our stew all dished up, ox cheek stew, and it's beautiful. I can tell you that the meat is falling apart, it's just tender, and it's so delicious. Mr. Simply Naturalissime is awesome. He makes the best dishes. So this is a versatile dish. You can serve this with a roll. I had it with the roll and the coleslaw there. You can serve it with cauliflower, mashed cauliflower, or with avocado, or with whatever tickles your fancy. Thank you so much for watching. You are awesome.